Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Mecca of Banter podcasts. I am this week's host, Bucci Main, and we had a great weekend of some footy that we are going to dissect and break down some fantastic games. But first, we got to check in on the boys. We're going to start off with the man who came into this podcast shirtless, who now is clothed, Mr. Connor Davies and Dobry. How you doing, brother? How is everything?
Oh, what's going on, fellas? Good to be here. I'm sorry I missed last week, but a ton to talk about. We had Liverpool Man City yesterday, one of the best games of footy I've seen in a long time. City with a tie, and then obviously United picked up 3 points again. Bielefeld beat Borussia Dortmund 2, their second team, but they are close to securing staying in the third division. So a lot of positives this week, but I missed you guys last week. Obviously, this is sort of my favorite part of the week. Ready to dive in. I think it could get spicy talking Liverpool City, though. So ready to dive in. Good to see you, boys.
Absolutely. I agree. It could get very spicy. Hoove, you got to be on a high over there, my brother. How are we doing, man? A very good day for you on Saturday, bro. Or Sunday.
Man. I'm doing great. I've got, I feel like I say this a lot, so it may have lost its weight at some point, but I've got takes today. I wish I knew more Villa fans because I'm gonna rip them to shreds. Truthfully, that's how I feel. Those guys suck. No Champions League. But no, yeah. Above all else, doing really well. Happy to be back in the booth with the lads.
We're happy to have you here, brother. And last but certainly not least, coming off a fantastic win today, the Chelsea Blues, Mr. Hafey. How are we doing over in the Chelsea corner?
It's a great week to be a Chelsea fan. Just wanted to, Hen's not here today, so just wanted to take that catchphrase and run with it myself. But I'm on the roller coaster that is the Chelsea Football Club, and right now we're on a high, 3 points we haven't had in a little bit, so that's fun to feel. But as always, you can find me on Twitter at Hafey4. Twitter is a very toxic place, and sorry, I'll call it X for now on. I really need to get with the times.
No, that's stupid.
Bro,
Stick with Twitter. It's Twitter.
It was always Twitter.
Don't even say X.
Yeah, very toxic place for a Chelsea fan right now. Also happy to talk about City. But yeah, pumped to dive in.
Hey, before you go on, the Dobes, what happens if Borussia Dortmund 2 gets promoted? Have you ever thought about that?
I have no idea. I honestly was one of those. I didn't know who they played this week, and I was like Saturday morning because they're not on TV. You can't watch the games.
No shot.
So I always check to see when they're playing, and I just saw Borussia Dortmund, and originally FOTMOB didn't have 2 listed. So I thought it was like a DFB Polka game, and somehow Bielefeld was still in it. And then all of a sudden, I refreshed it. I kept refreshing. I looked later, and then the 2 came up. I
don't get that.
Yeah, I have no idea how that would work.
No.
Freaking Bielefeld, man. God love him. Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, tonight's episode is brought to you by the spring cleaning champions, Manscaped. This season, make sure to groom your carpets and the drapes with the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Clear out that winter bush with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and watch your confidence bloom like the springtime flowers. Embrace the season and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our special offer. Go to manscaped.com and use code MECCA20 for 20% off plus free shipping. Yes, sir.
I mean, we've all been full-blown advocates since this situation, but we were before. Like, we're doubling down, and we've been here since day one.
I also want to make a statement, bachelor party gifts. Just throwing it out there. Manscaped's hooking it up.
Ooh, that's good.
Dude,
absolutely.
Sounds
absolutely.
Like
I don't know how I'd feel, though, about, like, one of my best friends for bachelor party. Like, hey, dude, trim your nuts.
I got you.
Bro, you just get them the deodorant care package thing.
Yeah.
We got nice care packages out there that you could do.
Very true.
What are you saying to your buddy by giving him, like, the state-of-the-art ball trimmer?
I heard you got some issues, man. I'm here to help.
I look, dude. This is for you.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, we're going to kick off tonight's episode with St. Louis City. And we were down in the hot state of Houston or Austin, Texas, and came out with a 2-2 draw. Now, I didn't get to watch too much of the game. I'm going to let you guys kind of take over on this one. I got to watch a little bit. But What are your guys' thoughts on the point? Should we have had more? Frustrations, excitement in certain areas? What are we feeling here?
Let's go to Hoove.
I did watch it very passionately in front of a TV with unhindered access for 90 minutes. So, I think the first thoughts are we had some consistency in the lineup. We saw it work last week. We literally fielded an unchanged 11, which I believe we didn't do until May of last year. So, obviously, year one, you're going to have some adjustments. But out of the gate, dude, this encourages me so much. Like, we don't have to adjust every single time we play somebody new. We don't have to try something that's not working, a la Klaus and Sam. I feel that may put us in a precarious position, though. Like, those guys are going to split time a lot, maybe. Sam was livid when he got pulled off in the 60th.
That's a really good problem to have, though.
It is a good problem. Yeah, of course. And, I don't think Klaus has really gotten himself up to speed yet, but that's for another conversation. Knowing that, and knowing that Austin was a defensive team, haven't done great this year, like, we have no right not to just go at about every team out there. Like, play the high press that we've done and play it effectively. And it worked. It worked again. Like, shocker. The biggest disappointment is giving up literally the only two offensive chances that Austin had. Like, they were toothless. And
you guys think that first one was a foul? When he throws on that corner, he kind of throws the guy down, wins the header. I don't know. I wanted to bring up the poor refereeing, and I thought, like, I'm not saying that should be called every single time, but like,
I was yelling for it. I mean, why was I not going to yell for it? But I that's been called before. Another interesting thing. So the refereeing, again, unbelievably shocking. Like, top to bottom, it was terrible. But we didn't see a replay for the entire first half. Like, it wasn't. It can't be mentioned by the commentators because they're on MLS's payroll. It really felt like they weren't going back and looking at challenges because they were bad. And the ref probably made a mistake, but they don't want to go back and highlight the issues that they definitely know are happening every single game. So that was a telltale sign to me. And then
that has to be something. Just thinking about it, even Apple, their highlights, they didn't have the pen.
No,
like it just went straight to the penalty. It didn't show how the penalty happened.
That's top down issues, and their replays.
You just said that.
The quality of the actual stream and the replays that they have are sensational. I'll give them their flowers where it's due. They've done that in the past. We've watched. It's not like this is an issue. We see the replays all the time. That was I think I'm in on a conspiracy that you guys may need to beat the drum on. But it was so bad. And then again, we can't be a serious league if you don't have goal line technology. That ball was in the net, brother.
I took one replay of me being like, "That's across the line."
It was in the net. It wasn't in the net, I think, the entire time until Stuber touches it. As soon as he touched it, it went backwards 2 or 3 inches, and I was like, "That's it right there." They didn't look at it. They didn't go to VAR. They don't have a camera even on the line. Lowen said after the game, he was like, he stood around and waited for the ref to look at his watch because he's like, that's just what I know is supposed to happen. Like, he played in the Bundesliga. That's what happens. We're not a serious league. Like, that was unbelievable. How poorly they blew that whole situation. I was losing my mind. I know Hen was losing his mind. That one pissed me off. So, without beating that drum, Alm came back late. That was exciting. We've got him back on the pitch. And again, I think I said this a while ago, but he's going to feel like a new signing. Like I rewatched the 50 or so goals that we had on YouTube from last year, right before the first Tuesday game. And he was involved in a ton of the ones at the beginning. Like, he was active on offense. So I'm excited to see that. But, the guy that we need to talk about the guy that you missed this train. Dobes said it 2 weeks ago. You've missed this train. Celio Pompey was a 90-minute starter every single weekend.
He's him. He's him.
I've been saying this, and people, I was actually talking about this in Amsterdam. I've been on the Celio train since he was with the MLS Next team. Like, since we didn't even have a team yet, and I went and watched them play, and he was one of the few guys that could pick up the ball, make something happen. And yes, of course, I want all the credit. Give me all the credit you guys want to give me. I'll take anything you want to say nice about me. That'd be awesome. But more so, like, I think City just has very few players that in a moment, and obviously the goal was a deflection, but he just made that happen. Certain players have that instinct. And I even go back to being at the game last year against Sporting when nobody had anything. Nobody on our team had anything. Yeah. And Celio came on late in that game and instantly gave us something. Like, he just gave us something. And I'm so happy for him that not only did I think him scoring last week and how he played gave him again this chance this week. And that's sometimes what it takes. It takes a chance and taking your moment in order to say, hey, yes, I came from MLS Next Pro. Now I'm here, and I'm here to stay. And like you said, he's on the field for 90 minutes.
Yeah,
like they subbed the winger. They subbed the striker. They subbed center midfielders. They left Celio on and in the game because he has that one moment of magic, whether it be I'm going to hit a shot and it's going to be a little bit of deflection. It's going to go in. He's at the right spot at the right time to make that moment happen. And I couldn't be happier for the guy because I think he truthfully has taken the harder route to stardom, if you want to say, of I made the decision to come here not knowing if I was ever going to get an MLS contract. I got an MLS contract. I'm on the team. I made kind of an impact last year. And now he's to the point where not first name on the team sheet, but he's definitely one of the first couple of names on the team sheet for sure.
You also, in the way that the season rolls, bro, you ride the hot hand. Like, you play the guy. Like, we played Sam again in Austin because why wouldn't you? He gave you every single reason to do it. And I think there's, a backwards a compliment every time that we talk about this to Lutz and the Sporting team. I think they knock this kind of thing out of the park all the time. But on the counterpoint of that, and I really want to – Henry was kind of beating it. AZ has ability to be really good. There's just a couple intangibles that make him tough to watch for me sometimes. Again, the talent is there. No one's questioning that, and he does every once in a while go on really good runs, make really good decisions. But, some of the decision making is not great, and he got battered in this game. Now, granted, I do think there were a lot of fouls on him that should have been fouls if it weren't for scab refs. But he just doesn't really he doesn't use his body super well. He shifts and feints like nobody else. But as soon as he takes any sort of contact, it's kind of like he bows out. But
where do you think his best position is?
I just don't.
I don't necessarily know if we're utilizing him because he's so great in the press. He's one of those guys that we lose the ball bad out of hell. He can press high, but I kind of think that limits him in terms of being able to pick up the ball in dangerous spots sometimes because he is so high that he's almost picking up the ball with his back to goal. And I think he's so much better running towards defenders than at the goal.
Yeah, because he was definitely playing. I mean, he likes to cut in. Like, I'm cool with that if he starts out wide, but he plays awfully central, and those sixes were just beating him.
They knew.
Last game. Yeah. So, but it wasn't a bad performance. I don't think anyone really had a terrible performance other than two individual moments that suck. But, to come away, that's a great point. 1 point most of the times on the road, anytime. That's a really, really good point. And to just be down for that long and, make it out of there, I'm okay with it.
I also hope Carnell continues to be consistent, like you were saying earlier on. I love that he stuck with the same lineup because now we can grow. I think that's something we were lacking last year late in the season. I know it's still very early on, but, we need to learn who's supposed to be where, when, and, I think we need to continue to grow in that area, and I hope
definitely
to be consistent. And I also, you brought it up, I love the not playing Klaus and Sam at the same time, and, him subbing them for each other because they're the same player at the end of the day. I think they're very similar how they play. And I think Celio off of them works very well.
I also think it's if Klaus isn't starting, he's coming on being like, I need a fucking goal.
Yeah, for sure.
I have to score because he's a highly paid player. He wants to play. And I think that is a great and a fantastic problem to have if Big Sam can keep scoring, if he can keep that pressure on, because obviously you don't want one to fall out of form. But that's a really good problem to have because a motivated Klaus, not that he shouldn't be already, but not only a motivated Klaus that isn't starting, like the guy fully probably coming into the season expected to be the 9 every single week. And I think we all do. And this has kind of been unexpected.
His hair was on fire when he got subbed on, bro. Yeah. Like he was so into it. And I think the one thing between him and Sam is Sam likes to get further on from the defenders and behind the line more, just because I think he's got the legs. Whereas, like, Klaus will provide you some combination. And sometimes when you're breaking down a low block, shocker, a hold-up 9 who can, ping a ball out, that's a little bit better. But we don't need them on the field at the same time. Using him as a 10 is a complete waste. Like, let AZ with the legs, or Ostrak, apparently, who likes, I don't know, I still don't know the obsession. But, like, those guys can play that role too. So it maybe provides a different look. Either way, they're both dangerous as long as you know how to use them, and hopefully we stick with it.
But before we move on, there's a question for Hoof because I know he watched the whole thing. I watched the highlights. Obviously, we like the unchanged team, but is there anybody in your mind that like you would switch?
I'm looking at the lineup here. I like the Durkin low end double pivot a lot. Indy sometimes he's really kind of streaky when he's in the game and out of the game. I think he's proved himself this year a dangerous set piece taker. So you like to have those guys on the pitch, but maybe that's where you make some adjustments. Looking at the bench, man, we still don't know what Eric Dyer, God bless. We still don't know what Dyer provides. We know Markanich has been well. The back line, I have a hard time thinking you want to change much out of. Like AZ or Indy. We haven't seen Blom this year, but Durkin's been too good to take out. Like, I don't know how much more you adjust. And knowing Carnell, we're going to get other guys and get running games. Like, maybe we don't make wholesale changes every game, but, rest is obviously important. I want to see Alm on the pitch when he's 100% healthy no matter what. So I'm thinking, if anything, he's going to play in that Indy wide right, a little bit more midfield type role, or maybe even in the 10-ish area with AZ instead of AZ. So he's got to be on the field for me, but we've yet to see him in a long time and don't need to rush him back in.
The last thing I think I'll say about City, and this is like how you guys are, Nikki mainly has been gassing me, said it a couple times in like my MLS fandom. Madison never in her life, if she knew United was playing, would schedule a dinner, a funeral, a wedding, you name it, because she knows better. I'll know that I'm truly a City fan when she stops scheduling shit during City games. Is when I know that I'm fully in, because I'm pretty much in. But the moment that she was like, "Yeah, 7:30 dinner time, does that work?" I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" But yeah, so I'm close. I'm close, fellas. I'm close. We're working on her.
Saturday nights are tough, but we're gonna get there.
Baby steps. All right. Well, that is our St. Louis City recap after our 2-2 draw against Austin FC. Moving on to the Premier League recap from this weekend. First game of the weekend was 6:30 in the morning. On Saturday, I can firmly tell you I did not wake up for this freaking game. Many things I'd rather do than watch United at 6:30. But United won 2-0 over Everton at Old Trafford. And Garnacho turned it on, Dobes. You want to talk a little bit about Garnacho's performance?
Sure. I mean, Garnacho did what Garnacho does. He's electric. Every time he picked up the ball, there's some, and I know it's like still photos, but there's some pretty cool photos of like where he picked up the ball and just like five or six Everton guys directly surrounding him and him being able to make something happen. So seeing just his progression, truthfully, has been, it sounds crazy. I don't know where we'd be if we were forced to play Antony every single week. Like Garnacho's a young kid and we're relying on him.
It's wild to think about.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where we'd be if we didn't have a player like him, because he's fearless. His work rate both ways is outstanding. He's defensively sound. He has a much better work rate than Rashford does. But overall with this game, it's just 3 points is 3 points. We have one healthy wing back. I thought Onana was fantastic again. Johnny Evans was fantastic again. I know we were talking about Johnny Evans before this, but I can't say enough about this guy. Just him stepping in. And there's something for managers, and Butch kind of knows this being a coach as well, but there's something to say about guys who know exactly what you're going to get. Regardless, he's going to give you everything he has. He's sound on the ball. He made 4 or 5 great blocks. And so, yeah, I mean, 3 points is 3 points. And I texted you guys because I wasn't on last week that I do have an agenda to talk about, and you guys can feel free to chime in whatever you want. For the listeners that don't really know me, who I am, what I mean by that is my entire life is consumed by sports. Everything that I do is consumed by sports. I'm sitting there watching South Carolina LSU women's basketball. I'm watching Pat McAfee. My entire life, at any given moment, I'm in the shower. I got Pat McAfee on listening to Who Signed Where in Football. There's nothing that I care about and I listen to more than conversations about Manchester United in my life. Nothing. I'm in Discords. I'm on Reddit pages. I'm on Twitter. I'm in Twitter groups. I listen to Goldbridge. I listen to Stretford Paddock. I listen to United USA. All of these different things. And I can't describe how fucking sick of this Ten Hag out movement than I seriously am. And you guys can say whatever you want. The Ten Hag movement has gained steam over the last couple of weeks. He's 8-1-2 in 2024. 8-1-2. We are 6 points off of where we were last year. Jurgen Klopp, after 27 games, the God Savior, Jurgen Klopp, with injuries, we have more points than they did at this point in the season last year. But not only that, my agenda is with pundits and people. You listen to Paul Scholes and you listen to these people that I genuinely respect, that like I grew up, made me fall in love with this club, that are talking about this manager leaving, but not providing a solution. They're not saying, well, why doesn't he slide Casemiro as an 8, play Mano as a 6, put this person out there? They're saying, oh, he can't get it right. 46% of Ten Hag's signings that he's made are free transfers, are loans. 46% are free transfers or loans. We played on Saturday. 2 of his signings played. 2. Casemiro and Onana. 2. And there's people out here that have the audacity to sit there and be like, it's Ten Hag's fault. And by no means am I going to sit here and be like, he doesn't deserve blame for certain games, for certain subs, for certain tactical decisions that he's made, because every single manager in the world gets those things wrong. People say, why aren't we playing Ajax-style football? Well, let's just think about this real quick. Ajax has a youth system from the U6s to the first team that all play the same style of football. So the moment that somebody gets injured, let's call up somebody that knows exactly how we're going to play. United has none of that. We have absolutely none of that. And if you listen to the Ole interview this past week and how much that he sat there and talk shit is a bad word, but he didn't hold back on him wanting to sign players in and just how bringing players in and out works. He wanted Erling Haaland. Jude Bellingham was in the building with Sir Alex Ferguson, with all of these guys to potentially bring them. United didn't want to make offers. So my whole thing with Ten Hag is, you cannot like him. I don't think there's a single manager that can come into Manchester United right now and succeed until we figure out the overall structure. I continuously say that I want to see performances on the field. That's more so because then I will know that we're progressing. Obviously, I want us to win. I'm happy with 2-0 at Everton at home, but there's no performance, which means we're not necessarily progressing from where we are last year. But the people that can sit there week in and week out, people in our group message, who I'm not going to name by name, although I should call out because of the whole Arteta Klopp thing, he's 2 years ahead of where they were. But the fact that people have the audacity to sit there and blame a manager for everything that he's had to deal with since he's been at the club is insane. Does he deserve some criticism? Of course. But the people that can sit there and say that he needs to leave the club are fucking brain dead. And the only reason I say that is because I sit there and I listen to every single forum. People talk about it all, what people's opinions are, what opinions I trust. Some I agree with, some I love. But that's what sports are. I understand that there's people that are going to be out there that disagree with me. That's the beauty of sports. People have different opinions. People see different things in different ways. People who truly know and understand United, another manager's not going to solve our fucking problems, fellas. Everybody that's listening, fucking Zidane's not going to solve our problems, fellas. He's not going to make Scott McTominay become God's gift to earth. He's not going to make Victor Lindelof become the best left back in the world. You know, he's not going to turn Harry Maguire into Prime Maldini. It doesn't happen that way. So I hate it on my chest. I have to, because I've been sitting here for 2 weeks listening to us go 8-1-2 in 2024 with fucking dog shit of an 11, and people are sitting here being like, "Get him out of here! It's his fault! It's his fault!" Fuck off,
Bro. Guys, I'm gonna tell you something. There are things in life. There are things in life as males, people, that we look forward to, right? Women, tequila, a lot of things. One thing that I really look forward to. One thing that I really look forward to. One thing that I really look forward to is the Dobes rant. Okay, and we got it. And we're going to clip that shit, and we are going to be putting that all over socials, because that was actually really well said. I agree with what you said. I don't think there's another coach in the world who you could place with this squad, especially with some of your key players out, and still get results, and you're still top six in the league.
Yo, our entire lineup, besides Casemiro and Onana, was Ole, Van Gaal, and Jose Mourinho signings. And people are like, why can't we keep the ball? Why can't Scott McTominay put 2 passes together? Well, what the fuck else you want us to do? You want us to play Ferguson? Like, who do you want to put there? Seriously, you want to put Amrabat? He's a lone player. Who do you want to put there?
Bro, that was one of the best rants I've ever heard in my life.
I wasn't even going to say anything. I was just going to applaud you off. That was incredible.
That was unbelievable.
I sit there and I listen to you name it, sports, but there's nothing that I listen to and read about and talk about and like care about truthfully more than United, and the frustration of just idiots who know zero. I'm so over it. I'm so over it.
Bro, that was really well said. But congratulations on the win.
3 points.
3 points and the Red Devils move. You know what I'm saying?
Easy game next weekend too. We're building.
I can't wait to watch that shit with you and win 7-0 again. I can't wait. Moving on. Dude, I'm so happy we don't have to talk a lot of Arsenal today.
So pumped.
I can't, bro. I hate Arsenal. I love you, Winks. I love you, bro. Winks, I love you. You're a good dude. You're a good chap. But I hate your football club. And we are going to not talk much. But Arsenal did come out with a win. A late goal.
Losing last year or drawing.
A late goal from Havertz, who I know Hoove has a few things he wants to say about Havertz about this game.
Bro, why was he on the field? Why was that was a class dive. That was a dive, and he was shameless. He was completely shameless. That's it. I didn't watch the entirety of this game. I know Nate Griffin sent a group chat, a meme into the group chat, and I was actually so angry that I didn't respond all day. I let that shit fly. I could not insert myself. Or I was gonna get angry. I went to brunch with my girlfriend. It was amazing. I had a much better time. But he did send a meme of that of the SpongeBob I'm a head out meme, and it was hate watchers when Havertz tapped that in. And I was like, that was literally me. I stood up, turned the TV off, walked outside the door. Dude, he shouldn't have been on the pitch. Shameless.
He shouldn't have.
Shameless behavior.
And I want to throw this out that. Where's the standard? Because they FIFA keeps talking about how they want to take diving out of the game, right? They want to take the relics out of this embellishment. How the hell do you not give a yellow card for that with VAR and video with a dive so blatant?
They can't review it.
Can't review it. Can't review a yellow.
I mean, bro. That is just freaking shameful.
The only defense I'll give Arsenal fans is that there is no standard. We get back to this a lot, And that's the only thing that you can grasp at from my point of view is like there's been a lot of times that they haven't been called this year. So you're right, hypocritical of the FA and the EFL to even state that if you're just not going to take care of it. And there's probably times Spurs should have been given a yellow for similar things. Like it's not just Arsenal, but this specific event was so unbelievably infuriating that now we're back to the conversation. Like there is no precedent. There's no guidance. It's not clear. Like they don't do it every week. Sometimes they do, and then the fans feel hard done. So that's it. That's all I've got on that. I was not
I think we're in a constant cycle. Or truthfully, because it's happened to Spurs, it's happened to United, it's happened to Chelsea, it's happened to Liverpool, and then for the week afterwards, the media, Arsenal fans, are like, "What are you talking about? It happens all the time." And then next week, it may happen. It's going to continuously happen. It's going to continuously happening. I will say, G, I'd be a little nervous for Arsenal, man. Like Declan Rice is.
He's a dog.
Like Nicky said, they tie that game last year unless they have a Declan Rice type player in that team.
Mm-hmm. No, you're not wrong. I mean, they're good. I just don't like them, bro. I don't like.
I fucking hate them, but they're good.
I just don't like the club. I'm just not a fan. Not a fan.
Thus far in 2024, I think
they've been great. I'll give them that. I'll give.
You hear it? You hear it? That's
I hear that. Hey, what you got? What you got in that cup, bro?
That's the ice melting on the May bottle job, labs. That's what it is. Don't you worry.
All right. I promised our listeners Arsenal talk would be short and sweet. We're going to move on. Big win for Spurs, who are in that hunt for top 4. Big win against the team that they needed to beat, who's right above them, Aston Villa. 4-0, absolute murder of a win for Tottenham Hotspur. Give us your post-game breakdown of this game, man.
If Spurs won as many of these matches where opponent like teams call them the biggest game of the year, if we had a trophy room for those matches, it'd be chock full. It'd be bigger than Barca's. We beat teams when they decide it's their cup final to play Spurs. We would hold the most trophies. John McGinn said it himself. The biggest game of the year. Biggest game from their point of view to gain some ground. What does he do, lads? He gets frustrated 2-0 down and chops Destiny Udogie, gets a red card, and gets sung by the Villa fans off the field. Super John McGinn, you just don't fucking understand. Yeah. Fucking fuck off with that, pal. Punked them, smoked them, swept them off their own park. First half was cagey, but it was a comment that so many of the players said, and that you could start to tell towards the end. They don't have the depth to keep up with the competitions they're in, I don't think. Not many clubs do, to be fair, but it was evident. Last 10 minutes of the first half, the players noticed, Postecoglou noticed, fans noticed that they were getting leggy. They were already chasing the game just a little bit. Like, they'll come out and they found a couple really good transitions. But the pressure was mounting. And then, 3 minutes into the first half, swing down the wing and an unbelievable cross from Pep Vs to Maddison. And it just opened up. The game was almost over, in my opinion. And it wouldn't really be until the second goal, Sonny, perfect layoff. Brendan Johnson scores again, 40 million down the drain or something, they say. But then it was over. Like, the subs came on for Unai Emery, who was shaking in his boots. John McGinn loses his head, pops the top, gets sent off. Done. Game. Done and dusted. Then they just decided to give us 10 minutes of extra time, of stoppage time, which was great because we got another Timo Werner goal. Hilarious. Love it. 2-2. The guy's back.
He is back.
Pulisic and Havertz all scored this weekend.
Hey, the Chelsea trash keeps scoring, man. No, it's always good to see him. I seriously, it was so evident to see how little confidence he had. So the first goal last week that I could have scored,
Definitely just breaks a seal. And then his goal was nice. It was a good finish. Even the commentators were like, he skies that or puts it way wide 2 weeks ago. Like it was a quality finish. Heung-min Son, technical missile, technical fucking demon in the box. You cannot leave that guy with more than two meters of space. Yeah, it was a Postacoglu masterclass. I really haven't gotten to say that a lot this year, outside of the being October champions or whatever. But yeah, team's pretty healthy, and the style of play they just ran Villa into the ground. There were so many high press moments to where they just vomited on themselves, and we got it quickly to the wing. So, yeah, I don't need to beat a drum, but
any update on Mickey?
Haven't seen much on Mickey. What I didn't he stayed on the bench, so that is really the only indication of it was worse than they feared, maybe. So the fact that he didn't go back, I don't think there's been MRIs or anything like that. He blocked a shot from Diaby, I believe, right at the end, or right at the beginning of the half. And it looked like it kind of just smoked his knee. Like it smoked his kneecap because it deflected off and went way out. But he looked a little just shaky after that. So we're hoping for the best. Credit to Dragoshin. I thought Radu was really, really good for not playing a ton this year and, having to slot in halfway through the match. But that's what you do, bro. That's why the winter transfer window's there. You buy guys that you need, and then you end up needing them and using them, and then they don't suck.
Mm-hmm.
You're not playing Ben Davies as a left-sided center back. So, good bit of business. I was happy for him. He looked pretty decent. Shaky moment or two, but to be expected when you don't play a ton. I'm buzzing. There's no way around it. That was a good one. I was pumped for that watch.
This starting lineup for you, is that your guys' like best 11, you think?
I think so. I mean,
Richie healthy.
Maybe Richie is a 9. Like, okay. It's just the positions that I'm feeling okay on. I don't think unless he grows some more. Brennan Johnson was going to be a really, really, really good squad player and electric. 40-minute sub off the bench or 30-minute sub off the bench, but he's kind of played himself into being on the field, whether that's on the right or the left. It matters is you have no reason to play Kulusevski through the middle, but again, he's another one of those guys that kind of just makes things happen. But Sonny will play wherever, and he's dangerous. Like he's so good as a 9, and he's so different. He's not your typical striker. He just brings everybody else into play so effectively, and Richie doesn't. But that's not his game. You kind of just have to adjust how you play. So I don't have an issue with it. I think given the personnel and who you're playing, a Man City, or maybe you're going to want some more aerial threat. But like everyone else, I have no issue with Sonny at the 9.
Sonny's low-key having a potential like player of the year season when it comes to stats.
Yeah, he's going to need a little more. But I was beating this drum way early. I was saying he was making a player of the year campaign off the jump. I don't know if he's there. There's a couple other cats obviously in that conversation, but he definitely could. He's keeping himself in conversation. A couple more goals, a couple more assists. We just got to keep winning. I would have a hard time thinking that he's not. Love that guy. Best striker. Oh, dude. Finisher of the ball. We say this a lot. One of the best. No question.
No, 100%. He's had a great year. 14 goals, 8 assists, Hoof. That's pretty. Plus, he missed a month or 3 weeks with the Asian Cup. Is that right?
Yeah, Asian Cup.
Probably add 3 or 4 more goals onto that tally. Probably be at 18 by now.
Probably right.
He's different, man. He's so technically gifted. It's not even funny. Both feet, too.
Yeah.
He doesn't
know.
He doesn't know. I mean, he's technically right-footed, but like,
yeah,
he doesn't really feel that way.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Liverpool City. Oh man. All right, Liverpool City, fellas. What a dude!
Congrats on the 3 points, man.
Huh?
Congrats on the 3 points at home.
3 point my nuts. Come on, bro. Listen. We came out slow, and City looked great in the first 30, 35. I'll give them 35, okay? Nice goal really well-worked goal from Stones. That little goal that they worked there in the 23rd minute from De Bruyne assist. Another assist.
Short corner, man.
Dude, yeah, that we got to we got to come up with something like that for our team. But it was a good goal from Stones. I'll give him that. But man, I've never seen. You guys could disagree, but I've never seen a team dominate City for such. Stop. If you say United, I'm going to smack that hat off you.
All I did the double over him.
I'm going to smack you, bro.
Dominated.
Spurs did the double on them last year. They didn't score a goal from that stadium for years.
Okay. Did they dominate the game?
No.
Did they dominate the game?
When they had Harry Kane, yes.
Does dominate get you like a 4th point or a 5th point or
Bro,
something?
listen, I'm not
Half
talking
point.
about we didn't get 3 points. And I know you want to rub salt in the wound, okay?
Liverpool was incredible for
We
the
were-
game.
Bro, we were fantastic. Obviously with a few really key players not playing.
Dude, Luis
Oh,
Diaz
stop.
was a freak.
Diaz, man.
Freak.
Bradley's a baller too.
I can't believe he didn't score though, bro. Oh.
Bro.
Diaz had both of those in the corner. The first time he did, he beat 2 guys, and then he did Walker. I'm talking all of Amsterdam was like, oh!
It was gross, dude. Yeah, Diaz was on one. I thought Nunez was phenomenal when he was like his pressing, bro. His ability to just be in your face, making runs nonstop. I mean, obviously he won the pen. Terrible decision from Ederson to just come out and swing his boot. I mean, you got to be smarter than that if you're a goalie of that kind of caliber, right? But few things stuck out to me about this game. Here's my first take, okay? Every center back in the league of the Premier League should walk into their film room tomorrow, grab the remote, press the button, turn that shit on, and watch Virgil van Dijk play against City and learn and take notes. And that's the truth.
Man's a baller.
That is the truth.
He was really good, especially on that one-on-one, with Haaland, where he let him run, let him get by him, and then let him also get to his strong foot and just
shoot. Yeah.
Woo!
Sounded.
Virgil's I think he was
incredible.
He was great.
And also what he does as far as like a leader and a captain, like the stronghold as a center back that he has on that defensive back four it's nice. And as a Liverpool fan, I bet it's very good to have that stability back there.
I was gonna say that sounded like it came from a place of like jealousy.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we have a new center back partnership every fucking week.
That's true. You really do. You really do. No, he was immense. He was a great captain and leader and on the pitch with guys around him that are very young. Guys like Kwanzaa and Bradley, really young. Even Szoboszlai is still young. He's like 22-year-old kid, like first big game at Anfield against City. Those guys are probably nervous as hell, but when you got a guy like Virgil, like, pulling the strings for you, it was phenomenal. I'm going to say this again. We have the Anfield Jisung Park, bro.
Yeah, dude,
Wataru Endo is unreal. That cat can play, and he has really, really shut up a lot of people who were questioning that signing back in August when they were like, who is this Endo guy from Stuttgart? You've seen him now, and he's shown out for many months when we've needed him to play well.
Yeah, I was expecting City's midfield to dominate you guys, and that was not the case. I think Endo was a big part of that.
Dude, so was I. I honestly thought the midfield was going to decide the game. I thought, I'm like, dude, they got Foden, De Bruyne, Rodri, Stones is hopping in center. We're going to be totally outrunning here. And they were just, dude, Harvey Elliott played phenomenal. I know Dobes hates spaghetti head, but dude, Jake Paul was balling, bro. That dude was out there just getting after it, dude. Did you see the tackle he had near the touchline by the benches? He went flying into like Foden or something, dude, and Foden just somersaults over him. He wins the ball, and we're off the other way. And I was like, Harvey, you're my G. I love you, bro. No, it was fun. Dude, honestly, that was one of the games where I did not want the game to end. I just wanted to watch 90 more minutes.
Even as a neutral, I mean, this is probably, I mean, if you want to call it like the second best Prem rivalry, like period of time, if you want to say, I guess you can call it a rivalry. Like, but this game, I watched this and I instantly was like, yep, United's decades off of looking like either of these teams are.
Oh, 100% felt
because it's just the level of football that was played. Like throughout the first 15, 20 minutes, City was dominating. And then when Liverpool finally got their press going, it was a press, but it was like City would all of a sudden win the ball back, put together 5 or 6 really quick passes. They're the best team in the world at that. But Liverpool's press was in tune and on it like that. Which there's very few teams that when City gets going and they're pinging the ball and they have their triangles and they have their angles, they have their shape. There's very few teams that are able to press them the way that they are. And Liverpool was making it like there was times City couldn't get out.
Mm-mm.
And you never see that with everybody. And then you even look at the second half. I think it's the first time that I've ever seen, and I know that Pep didn't come out and say it, but he took off Kevin De Bruyne, and that's like he was kind of playing for the top.
Dude.
Because he came out and said that De Bruyne didn't have the legs to press and what they needed, so they brought on Kovacic. We haven't seen that from a Pep Guardiola Man City.
Mm-mm.
I do think it's just him saying we'll take a point and we'll make up our points against like other teams later on. But the way that City was rattled for that entire second half, we haven't seen them like that. Maybe ever.
KDB was pissed too,
Yeah.
bro.
I'd be pissed too, bro.
Yeah.
I also think Ederson shows a little bit of him not being on the pitch when it comes to possession out of the back for them. Like I think
He's out
the
of
press
months now,
Liverpool
too.
was able to work because Ederson was not in late.
That
Yeah.
little tackle, they just said he was out 4 weeks.
Yep.
I will say Ortega made some big saves, bro.
Bro,
I mean, to come in cold like that and make some saves, bro.
as a straight up shot blocker, I don't remember. It was an FA Cup match, I think, and I was texting Dobes and Hen, and you know, I thought Ederson was in. It was a big match. I don't really remember who it was. I was like, holy shit, Ederson! That was an insane save. And you go, bro, that was Ortega. I was like, no fucking way, dude. No, I completely agree. Like, as a backup, he may not obviously provide what Ederson does because he's one of the only keepers in the world that can do that. But, like, shot stopping, that guy's a freaking dog, bro.
He is, bro. He is a dog. And but what a game, man. Like, yes, it sucks. It sucks not getting 3 points, bro. But mark my words right now, I'm just going to go out and say it. I hope I don't jinx it. I'm going to knock on some wood. This might end up being the best title race of our lifetime that we will watch. When it's this close with 10 games left, it might be pretty insane. I could see some Aguero shit happening at Anfield on the last day.
Championship Sunday. Championship Sunday is going to rip.
Yes. Darwin's going to win us the title. Watch. He's going to put one H. Gouda, top cheddar, and then we're going to win it the 92nd minute.
Of the clouds?
Finish third.
I'm just messing. But what a great game.
We got to talk about the red card. We have to talk about the red card.
Bro.
Or the penalty, excuse me.
I was gonna say there wasn't a red.
I didn't want to bring up the penalty because I've been reading shit on Twitter and I'm like, I think if you get studs to the chest, I don't care if you got a little, like he didn't get a lot of ball, he got a little bit of ball. If you get little ball, studs to the chest, you gotta give a PK. I mean,
I wish Klopp would have said that instead of being like, if you've watched football and you have a brain, that's a penalty.
You know, like, dude, Dobes, imagine.
Sounds about
you guys.
Brother, it happened last week when Ederson went 2 feet studs up into Garnacho, but he
and that should have been a foul.
I mean,
not all ball.
But you can't, dude. Here's the thing. Here's the difference for me though. Like
differently in the box, it always has been, it always will be, and it always should be, man.
Yep,
bro. This one was just different though. Like the dude's foot was almost at his face, and he's like putting his studs. He's putting his foot this way towards his face, and it connects right here.
It was like 6'4" here. McAllister's a tiny dude.
I mean, Doku's kind of tiny too. They're both tiny. But
I was good with the no call. Honestly, I was good with the no call because in that moment, that literally is a title deciding call.
It is. It is.
And
I
unless you're
agree.
100% certain, I don't think you can make that call either way. Like if it's 2-1, and then like Liverpool may tie that, like there's maybe a little bit the different circumstances, but 1-1 right there, literally a title deciding pen to like go back to top of the table. I'm happy with the no call. I get the frustration, but that's also been consistently not called
Yeah.
the entire year.
Yeah. No, I see where you're coming from. It's a double-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? We're, finding the consistency in calls and things like that. But for those of you who are listening right now, the title race is within a point of 3 teams. Arsenal's top of the league, Liverpool 1 point behind them, and City 1 point behind Liverpool. So strap your seatbelts because it's about to be freaking like the Mr. Freeze at Six Flags up in this John. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be lit. All right. So moving on to the last game of the weekend, which was today, Monday, March 11th, Chelsea with a 3-2 win over Newcastle, 2 managers who are fighting for their jobs. And Nick, big win for you guys. Give me your thoughts here. What do we got?
Boys, I just wanted to start this off with a shout out to you guys for letting me come onto this podcast and talk about 11th place Chelsea every week. So shout out to you guys. You guys are talking about title races, and my club is nowhere near that. So
Podcast started with Sean in Southampton, man.
That's fact.
hilarious. But like Butchie said, definitely think Poach's job was on the line. And if you were checking Chelsea Twitter, that was very apparent. People were pretty much calling for his job before the game even started. But if we didn't come away with 3 points, I definitely think there was a possibility that he would not be our manager moving forward. 3 points is 3 points. I'll say that to start it off. I'm very happy with 3 points, especially as a Chelsea fan of late. Those don't come every weekend, so I'm very happy that we got points. But Pochettino starting Sterling makes absolutely no sense to me. He consistently proves that he is a detriment to our team and doesn't really provide anything moving forward for us. He missed 2 sitters. And the moment Mudryk comes on the field, he provides an impact into the game and scores us a goal. So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start next game because every time Mudryk scores, Poach doesn't play him the next game. So for some reason, maybe Sterling has – I've said this before, but maybe has blackmail. Like I'm dead serious about that because for some reason he continues to get in the starting lineup.
He's got to be because he's one of the older players. Like in my point of view,
we don't play Silva anymore. We don't play
Some
Thiago that much
experience,
anymore.
Some experience is probably what he's looking for.
yeah.
I agree with that, but consistently, like, I don't know if you guys watched the game, but like every time he had the ball, it was either a turnover or some dissolvement in the possession that we had with the ball.
That one where he was like 1-on-1 and the ball like rolled over his head.
God.
That was hysterical.
You want to talk about still pictures, Dobes, earlier? Like, I've seen 8 still pictures of Sterling with, like, 3v1, 3v2, 3v0, like, him and the goalie, and literally every single time he takes it himself and doesn't pass it to the wide open person. He's one of the most selfish players on the field. So that one still, I don't understand. I will say I love Poach's sub of bringing Sterling off. I thought it was very obvious they shouldn't have been on the pitch. And when Mudryk came on, he immediately had an impact. I thought his goal was a fantastic finish and something we've been looking for him to do for a very long time. I also, I think who said it. I don't know if I saw it as much throughout the team that they were playing for the manager's job, but I definitely saw it in Mudryk. Not only was he playing for the manager's job, but I think for his starting role as well, because I think the moment he came on, absolutely. The moment he came on, he provided a great start. The other one I want to give credit to is Palmer. Had another great performance. I will say I wish he was more effective for a full 90. I think he kind of took over in the game later in the game, which I wish he could do for a longer spell of time. But I think his assist on Jackson's finish, I don't know if you guys saw that. It was a missed clearance from Newcastle, landed to Palmer. He shot it on goal, and Jackson kind of had a deflection in. I thought that was a class finish from Jackson, which is kind of rare from him. And then,
dude, he's more of an enigma than Nunez. Like,
yeah, and
Snacks.
you want me to be completely honest with you? I was talking to Anthony Russo, another Chelsea guy, last weekend. I'm okay with Jackson playing as our 9 right now because the 9 at Chelsea is such a whoever plays there kind of goes and becomes a ghost. And like of all the players, I want him to be the biggest ghost. So like I'm okay with him being 9 because
he'll
then
get his
Palmer
head on a
play right
ball.
wing.
Yeah.
Like and to be fair, he presses well. He runs a whole bunch. Like when he gets the ball back, he doesn't really do much. But I will also say one thing I was happy with is I think Flan pointed it out on one of the podcasts previously is we're kind of seeing a consistency a little bit in our midfield, which like I want to continue to see because I want to see them grow as a 3. Now I will say I'm not thrilled with how they're not bossing teams in some of these games. We spent a lot of money on them, and our midfield 3 I enjoy, and I think there's a lot of talent in it. So I want to see them continue to grow. But besides that, 3 points is 3 points. I thought both of the finishes from Newcastle, I don't know if you guys saw them, were worldy. Isak had an incredible, like, quick touch banger on the outside. And then, what was it, Jordan or whatever his name is? I forgot
Murphy, dude. That was an absolute piss missile.
Hit a piss. But I also,
insane.
It goes back to the inconsistency on the defensive side. We had Kukurea back in the lineup and Chalobah, and like they just I don't know what's going on. It's something I talk about when we talk about St. Louis City. With if we continue to throw different lineups back there, it's hard for them to gain trust with each other, knowing where everyone's at. And I hope we figure that out, and hopefully some of our players come back healthy.
Dude, it was a big game atmosphere like that, and that's what I like was. It was so interesting for me to see that, and it felt like everyone just so desperately needed 3 points just to like fucking relax, like that. It was on a knife's edge. Like it was a big game atmosphere. It was electric. The Chelsea guys honestly looked up for it, and like if Mudryk doesn't play the next game, he looked effective. Like even if he's not necessarily gonna, like put all of his chances away, like he just was fast and ready to go at dudes. So I that's probably something you guys have been lacking. But also, you mentioned it earlier. If Nico Jackson has scored 80% of some of the chances he's had, I don't know if you guys are talking about 11th place. Like, no. And it's obviously not. They're few and far between. They're not. It doesn't happen often enough for as like a team point of view. But like, just there were so many times, even today, dude. I saw him get a ball on a break, and I just started chuckling. Like, I just was like, I know someone's gonna catch him, or I know it's like it was comical to me.
When I was thinking about it when you've been talking about Son and his finishing, like when I see Sterling or Jackson in on a goal, I'm like, oh, that's not going to be anything. Like this isn't.
Yeah,
passing the other team, like it's going to go the other way.
And again, I've watched very few Chelsea this year, but I think it's with any player. Like Nico needs a Sam Adeniran, if that makes sense. Like he doesn't necessarily have another 9 behind him that's going to who's going to challenge him.
Yeah.
You go into
competition wise, I get what you're saying.
You go into every single week being like, I'm the 9.
Yeah.
I'm the 9.
No, that's what I'm saying with what I was trying to say earlier. Like, I'm happy to put him there right now because like we don't have anyone else, and it's kind of a wasted position with how we play right now.
That's never like a mentality you want from a 9, a guy that knows he's going to be there. You want a guy that's like, I have to score, I have to perform. And right now, because there literally isn't, unless you do the Cole Palmer false 9 shit again. Like he's the guy
I don't like because I think he ghosts when he's a 9.
Yeah, it's like Højlund. It's like Højlund, like he's the guy. We have nobody else to put there. Either you score or we don't win.
Yeah. I will say Jackson does have 9 goals though. So like he does miss a lot of chances, but he has 9 goals.
3 of them against a 9-man Spurs. I would like to throw an asterisk in there. Thank you.
Cole Palmer with 11 though.
Oh man. Well, big win for you, Nikki. Congrats on the dub. It's always a good day when you get 3 points. Makes you sleep better at night.
Mentals.
Mm-hmm. Check on your Chelsea fans, boys.
Hey, man, you're doing good today. Love to see it.
Yes. Real quick, we're going to briefly skim over these Champions League games this week. We've got some tasty Champions League games to watch, bro. Arsenal, Porto, Barcelona, Napoli, Atletico Madrid, Inter Milan, Dortmund, PSV. It's hard, bro. First of all, Winks, when you listen to this tomorrow, you heard it right now. You're getting your ass knocked out.
Oh, I was about to say, I think there's a lot of confidence around them and around
You're
that.
getting knocked out.
I think they may get knocked out by Porto. If you haven't looked, Porto in their last 2 fixtures have scored 8 goals and let up none.
You're kidding.
You're getting knocked out. You heard it first.
I was just looking up how to say "come on, Porto" in Portuguese. And it's just "Vamos la Porta."
Vamos la Porta.
The most on-brand Arsenal thing ever. If they get
I will say, to play devil's advocate a little bit, where Arsenal is so good, and it's just been from last year to this year, is when they start games fast.
100%.
Coming into this game down a goal, like, not that it benefits them, but they're going to come out flying at home. Yeah. And so
they need 2 or 3 early, though, to be fair.
I do think if they get a goal early, they're going to go on to win the game. But Porto is one of those teams where if they can defend, they're going to make it. I wouldn't say it's like a Diego Simeone Atletico, but they're going to have some shithousery in this game for sure, because that's just how Porto is. And if Porto can hang around in this and keep it 0-0, there's a definite chance that they can get through here. But if Arsenal start fast, man, like this is a juicy. I'm actually looking forward to. I wasn't looking forward to the first leg, but I'm looking forward to watching this one now.
Mark my words right here. You heard it. That if Porto wins tomorrow, I swear to God, I will do this. I will overnight ship a Porto hoodie to Winks' house. I swear to God. I swear to God. I will order it on soccer.com and I will have it fast shipped to his house. I'm not messing around. We got a banter in this chat, bro.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, Arsenal chasing West Ham to be another English team to win a European trophy needs to continue.
And I think Inter Milan, by the way, guys, I know they're playing Atletico Madrid and they're already up, but I think Inter Milan might be going back to the Champions League final. Have you seen how they've been playing, bro?
They're so good, dude. I beat this
for
a few weeks. They're sick. They're a lot of
fun
insane. To watch.
They're insane. Like they're
one of the hardest places and one of the hardest difficult situations that you're going to see in the Champions League is going 1 goal in at Atletico Madrid. Though, to be fair, the Metropolitano is going to be an insane place to play. But I think if they get through this stage, I don't know who else we got to take them on.
100%.
Is Griezmann still out?
Griezmann's not back yet. He should be back like in the next week because he sprained his ankle a month ago. But if Griezmann plays tomorrow, if he's back, you got to hold that into account, But some great games. Tune in on Paramount Plus. Watch some Champions League this week. Take a break from the workday. Go make little cappuccinos.
Paramount Plus.
Yeah, shout out Paramount Plus.
Free advertising. Hit us up.
Valley.
All right, boys. It's been a hot minute. Real quick, little factor cap joint. You guys ready to roll? Little factor cap joint to finish off the episode. And I'm going to shout out Nathaniel Griffin, our good friend, our good pal Griff, who honestly just annoyed the shit out of me the other day when he was texting me and Dobes in our little COD group chat. And he said that Bukayo Saka, I'm tired of hearing Bukayo Saka, right? So I said Phil Foden is the greatest English talent in the world and has the highest superstar ceiling of any English player in the world right now. Do you think that is a fact or a cap?
Fact.
And I want you, and you got to think there's guys like Jude, there's guys like Saka. You could even keep Rashford in there if you want. Marcus has
Palmer.
Cole Palmer. They got some studs. They got some studs in this England camp, and I think Phil Foden has the highest ceiling of superstardom of any of them. And you could either agree or disagree. Tell me your thoughts.
When you say superstardom, that's the only part that it bugs me a little bit because Jude's superstardom.
Are you saying, I feel like you're meaning highest ceiling.
Yeah, bro. Like high ceiling is in at the end of all their careers, who do you think's going to be the best player out of this bunch of
Okay,
players?
thank you. Thank
Right?
you. I like that a lot.
But
better.
like talent, like Phil, look at Phil's numbers right now. He's a superstar this year. He's got 20 goals, 10 assists in all competitions, bro. He's killing it. Jude's got a ton of goals. Saka's killing it.
I'm trying to say, I think Jude's brand is insane.
I mean, Jude's brand may be bigger, but I'm talking talent, bro. I think Phil's the best.
I'm gonna go Cap. I'll go first. I'm gonna go Cap. I am a Phil Foden truther. I love him. I think he's so technically gifted. He's one of the best young players in the world. He's also a product of Pep Guardiola, and Pep Guardiola is not going to be there forever. And Pep Guardiola knows how to get the best out of Phil Foden wherever you put him on the field. And not saying that doesn't necessarily translate to somewhere else, but we don't know if that translates to playing in any other style of football. I'm going Jude. I'm truthfully going Jude. We all saw Jude Bellingham as a 6 or an 8, for Dortmund as one of the best in the world at it. He's now playing as kind of a false 9 for Real Madrid, and I think he's leading
the best in the world at it.
He's one of the best in the world at it. I think this is very tough because they're so both unbelievable. But I'm just going to lean Jude in terms of like overall career because I think Jude can translate to anywhere. I'm not saying that Foden couldn't, but I do think that Foden is a direct product of playing for one of the best managers of all time.
That's a good point. I go ahead.
I completely agree with those. I think you hit it right on the head. But I think when I watch Phil Foden, I don't even want to say this, but like he's so technically gifted that he can do anything with the ball at any time. And I think Jude kind of wills himself a lot, and he has that like persona and mentality to like get over the line. And I think it's so awesome. But what Phil can do with the ball at any given moment, like I don't think anyone else can do it. And I think he's one of the better midfielders in the world. And I do think if he went to another team, he would do exactly what he's doing. I will say, I think Pep definitely, I think Pep definitely instilled a lot of who he is now, but I think he goes anywhere and can do what he's doing now at similar places. And I think that also just falls back to how technically gifted he is because he can do anything at any time with some of that stuff.
I'm gonna go fact because I'm gonna play devil's advocate on the Pep Guardiola student point. I think if you take him off of that team to where he's the man and has to be the man, I think we're seeing unbelievably ridiculous numbers. Like, yes, he's got 8 assists, he's got 11 goals, I think, insane in any Premier League season. But that's like probably not even 25% of the goals that Man City scored. So we're like, yes, he's unbelievable, but we're seeing him play in a system and style that makes sure that everyone that kind of goes in there is really, really good. And I liked Nick's point about willing. Like it's definitely like Phil Foden's got a demon mentality. There's no way around that either. But Jude's is different. He works harder. He reaps all of the benefits of the work and the work rate. And again, this could be a City thing too. But Phil just doesn't have to. Like it comes naturally to him. He is world class with the ball. I think he's got a higher ceiling, but it's by what? By what are we valuing that? We're looking at 2 of the best players. Close. We're looking at 2 of the best players in the world, and they're English under 22, like under 23. So
Cole Palmer is literally on Chelsea and who he is today because Phil Foden is too good.
Yeah,
we saw the difference. Literally. We saw the drop off though yesterday. Like we saw the drop off yesterday when Liverpool kept possession. Foden ghosted. He wasn't good defensively. He wasn't going up and back, and he wasn't the same. That's my only point. Is that I feel like you can drop Jude into Atletico Madrid. You can drop Jude into Tottenham. You can drop Jude into Liverpool. Like Foden, we only know Foden when they have 75% ball possession. He's picking up the ball wide when he can go 1v1. He's doing 1-2 passes with Kevin De Bruyne, and he's crossing the ball to Erling Haaland. Like that's my only thing is that I feel like Jude you can drop in anywhere, and it is kind of like like Hoover said, it's like a small percentage of goals. But like when City don't have the ball, he's 100% not as effective. And I do think that's kind of the only.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything defensively. I mean,
You're right.
He hasn't had to. He's what, 22? He's never
But
had to.
I've seen him put in some tackles too and get
I've
a
seen
ball back.
Rashford putting tackles too. He's sick defensively.
I wouldn't compare those two.
What an argument, Butchie. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was.
Dude, you guys killed that. And I think that it's a really hard call between those two. And I think we can all agree that Saka's not in that top two. So Griff, when you listen to this tomorrow,
No.
He's number.
Bukayo
I think
Saka.
he's a clear 3, and I think that should be something that you can accept.
I think
1A, 1B, 2. 1A, 1B, flip flop 2.
I'm sorry, bro, but Saka just,
I would argue Cole Palmer and Saka.
Oh, get out of here! Get out of here!
no, that was a fun one. You guys killed that, man.
You're gonna hear about that Saka take.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a text from Griff tomorrow, bro. You ain't gonna be happy.
Notice we didn't mention him until Butchie brought it up at the end.
Huh?
So notice we didn't even mention Saka.
It wouldn't have been the conversation if you didn't even mention. Yeah, if you didn't even say his name, we would have been like, "Oh, Jude or Phil."
With what we're saying, England should win the fucking Euros.
Very true.
Won't though.
Very true.
Yeah, I think this Euro 2024 this summer, when we're all kicking back watching, like England is the team. I think where you look at it on paper and you're like, this team, if it clicks, which I don't think it will because Southgate's a clown.
I was about to say,
if it clicks talent wise, they should win the tournament. I genuinely believe they should win the tournament. But
Harry Kane scored 45 goals, scored 80 goals this year. They should do it. It shouldn't.
He's like 10 or 11 from Lewandowski's record, I think.
10, 10, something like that. Something crazy, bro.
He may bag that in the next 2 games, for all we know.
Yeah, he might. I think he might break it, bro.
Get rid of that guy. Lewandowski's a fraud.
Hey, guys, we appreciate you listening to this week's episode. As always, we're just some bruvs being blokes, lads being chaps, just having fun, talking the game of footy. We appreciate our listeners sticking with us for this long episode. We hope you enjoyed it. We will see you next week, next Monday night when we record, next Tuesday when we release. As always, catch us on the social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We're blowing it up. Peace and love. Appreciate y'all, man.
Manscaped.
Yeah, man.
Shout out Manscaped.
Phew.